are you really when nobody is watching? At some quiet, vulnerable moment, have you ever looked into a mirror and felt the disquieting sensation that the reflection gazing back at you wasn't truly yours? Not literally, but metaphorically, like a stranger inhabited your skin, living a life designed by other people's expectations. How much of your identity, your beliefs, even your most personal dreams are authentically yours? And how much have you unconsciously inherited, accepted, or absorbed from those around you? What if the person you've spent your entire life becoming is merely a role, played masterfully to an audience who doesn't even truly know you? Imagine reaching the end of your life and suddenly realizing you lived a beautifully convincing lie, one that comforted others, but quietly betrayed your own heart. Could you bear the weight of that realization? Would it feel like a profound, irrecoverable loss? Or worse, would it leave you numb, hollow, stripped of the very core you believed made you human? But what if there was another path? What if the secret to genuine happiness, profound connection, and true self-understanding lay hidden in the parts of yourself you've been taught to deny, suppress, or simply never question? In exploring the invisible scripts we unknowingly follow, scripts written by culture, family, and society, we'll discover startling truths about autonomy, fulfillment, and the profound courage required to reclaim our truest selves. We'll unravel precisely why we choose comfortable illusions over uncomfortable realities, and we'll confront a chilling question. If your deepest, most authentic self knocked urgently on your door, begging you to open it, would you dare answer, even if you feared what you'd find on the other side? In the quiet, yet profound unease we've already touched upon, the haunting suspicion that our deepest self remains unknown even to us, lies a question that has tormented humanity long before you felt its sting in front of your own mirror. One philosopher, more vividly and radically than any other, dared to ask precisely this question and push it to its most uncomfortable extremes. Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche wasn't merely a thinker, he was a disruptor whose words struck at the very heart of the polite illusions society depends upon. Writing in the late 19th century, a period steeped in tradition and conformity, Nietzsche perceived an unsettling truth: that beneath the comforting layers of social acceptance, morality, and duty, most people lived lives completely divorced from their authentic selves. But what exactly did Nietzsche mean by authenticity? Was it merely a romantic idealization of being yourself, or something far deeper and more unsettling? Nietzsche believed we live imprisoned by a construct he called the herd morality, a set of unquestioned values imposed by society, designed primarily not to liberate us, but to keep us predictable, manageable, and safe. To Nietzsche, this wasn't just intellectual imprisonment, it was existential suicide. And here's the profoundly unsettling loop we must confront. What if the values you've been taught to cherish most, humility, conformity, self-sacrifice, are actually the invisible chains keeping you forever distant from genuine freedom and fulfillment? Nietzsche introduced the figure of the Übermensch, often misunderstood as mere superiority or dominance, but at its core, something deeply emotional and intensely personal. The Übermensch represented the courage, the nearly unbearable vulnerability required to break free from external expectations and embrace total self-creation. Yet Nietzsche was intentionally elusive. He never fully revealed exactly what becoming an Übermensch truly entailed, nor precisely how one might achieve this profound authenticity. Why did Nietzsche deliberately leave us stranded at the threshold of revelation? Could it be that the path toward authenticity demands not guidance, but a solitary, terrifying leap into the unknown? You now stand at Nietzsche's crossroads, sensing, but not yet fully comprehending, the immense emotional stakes ahead. To truly grasp the essence of Nietzsche's challenge, we must continue forward, delving deeper into the disturbing yet potentially liberating implications of confronting and transcending the hidden scripts we live by. What will happen when you face Nietzsche's ultimate question? Are you willing to risk everything familiar to meet the person you might become? If authenticity is liberation, why does even contemplating it fill us with such profound anxiety? We've glimpsed Nietzsche's promise, the freedom of becoming who we truly are, but the price is deeply unsettling. Nietzsche didn't simply promise liberation. He warned us it would be terrifying, costly, and perhaps even devastating. Yet, paradoxically, it might also be the only path toward genuine joy, meaning, and self-realization. Imagine for a moment a life where you cease playing roles crafted by others, where the masks you wear effortlessly slip away, and the true, unvarnished you stands revealed. Would this feel liberating or deeply horrifying? Nietzsche suggests both. The paradox is crushing. The authenticity we crave most deeply is simultaneously what we fear the most. Why do we so profoundly resist what we claim we want most? Because stepping into authenticity is like stepping onto thin ice. We fear that beneath the facade we've built lies emptiness, confusion, or worse, something monstrous. This fear is no idle anxiety, it's existential dread. Nietzsche describes this terror vividly, calling it staring directly into the abyss, warning famously, "If you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you." But what exactly is this abyss Nietzsche speaks of? It's the deep, haunting uncertainty at the core of existence. If you discard the roles and expectations defined by your family, your friends, your society, what remains of you? Is there truly an authentic self buried beneath, waiting to be discovered? Or is there only emptiness? Let's make this deeply personal. Think of a time you withheld your truest thoughts, not out of kindness, but out of fear. Fear of rejection, isolation, ridicule, or abandonment. Did you feel safe, or did you feel trapped, small, and less alive? Nietzsche insists this tiny betrayal, this self-suppression, is precisely how we lose our humanity, piece by piece, sinking slowly into numbness and quiet desperation. Yet paradoxically, stepping into authenticity feels equally threatening. Why is something as fundamental as being yourself experienced as a risk so extreme that most prefer silent despair to genuine expression? Here's Nietzsche's profound psychological insight, only partially revealed so far. We fear authenticity, not merely because we fear rejection or loneliness, but because authenticity requires destroying illusions we desperately rely on. To embrace the freedom Nietzsche describes demands letting go of comforting beliefs, including the belief that society, or even life itself, is fair, meaningful, or fundamentally safe. This leads us directly to an even deeper paradox. What if true authenticity, true freedom, is inherently incompatible with the reassuring comforts we've built our entire lives around? Consider the painful yet liberating example of someone leaving behind a career or a relationship that seemed perfect from the outside, yet slowly suffocated their spirit. On the other side of that choice lies immense loss and grief. Yes, but also something astonishingly potent: clarity, possibility, raw, invigorating life. Nietzsche would ask provocatively, how much of your happiness would you trade for absolute clarity about who you really are? Yet even as you begin to grasp these layers, Nietzsche pushes deeper still. He suggests this clarity, this authenticity, might not bring peace, but perpetual tension. The Übermensch does not live comfortably. Rather, he or she continually confronts uncomfortable truths, endlessly wrestling with the question of meaning. Is true authenticity thus not a destination, but a lifelong journey of confronting an ever-changing self? Nietzsche's insights thus force us to recognize an emotionally charged and unresolved tension. To become fully authentic is profoundly liberating, yet profoundly unsettling. To embrace authenticity is to courageously step into uncertainty, risking emotional isolation, yet also gaining an unmatched sense of self-possession. The paradox grows heavier, sharper, more urgent. Can we truly bear the emotional and intellectual consequences of embracing authenticity, or the spiritual cost of never daring to attempt it? Now you stand again at Nietzsche's crossroads, deeper now and more perilously committed. Will you risk continuing toward the difficult truths ahead, or retreat into the familiar comfort of unexamined life? Let's pause now. Look closely. I want you, right now, to consider your own life. You might think you already understand authenticity. You tell yourself you value honesty, sincerity, and openness. But consider this. How often, this very week, have you held back your true feelings, edited your beliefs, softened your edges, not out of compassion, but out of fear? Ask yourself honestly, whose life are you really living? How many days pass with you slipping quietly, unnoticed, into the background of your own existence? How often have you stood at the edge of what Nietzsche called the abyss, the moment you could reveal yourself completely, and chosen instead to retreat into safety, into quiet comfort, into the numbing warmth of familiar illusion? Maybe right now you feel resistance rising, an urge to dismiss or deflect. That very feeling is precisely why Nietzsche matters, because the life you've grown accustomed to, the safety you cherish, the beliefs you rarely question, might be precisely what's stopping you from ever truly meeting yourself. Consider this unsettling reality. If you stopped pretending tomorrow, would your relationships survive? Would your career, your friendships, even your sense of self hold firm, or collapse under the weight of sudden authenticity? Yet here's the crucial, unresolved point you must face. Nietzsche intentionally refuses to guarantee you peace or comfort at the end of this path. He promises no safety, no soothing answers, no easy resolution, only the undeniable truth that refusing to confront your hidden self condemns you to perpetual dissatisfaction, quiet desperation, and eventually the unbearable ache of a life unlived. Do you feel the weight of this paradox yet? The path forward isn't easy. It might even break your heart. But is staying where you are really any safer? Are you truly prepared to live with the haunting doubt, the quiet pain of never knowing who you might become? I cannot, and intentionally will not, fully resolve this tension yet. Nietzsche's insights compel us to go further, deeper, to discover what lies beyond the fear, beyond the uncertainty, beyond the illusions we've clung to our entire lives. Because if you truly seek peace, true, uncompromising authenticity, you must confront one last, critical question, still unanswered. Are you ready to find out who you truly are? Or will you remain trapped by the comforting illusions you've always known? You have no choice now but to continue forward, because the answers awaiting you ahead are too crucial, too life-changing to leave unexplored. If you've journeyed this far, you now deeply understand Nietzsche's provocative yet liberating truth. Authenticity isn't comfort, safety, or conformity. Authenticity is courage, raw, daring courage, to look deeply within, face the abyss, and still choose the extraordinary risk of becoming who you truly are. The paradox that haunted us is now clear. The fear we feel when confronted with authenticity isn't a warning, it's a doorway. On the other side lies not emptiness, but freedom. The exhilarating freedom to embrace your true self, unburdened by the masks you've worn to please others. free from the quiet despair of living a life shaped by invisible scripts you never wrote. Yes, Nietzsche warned us that this path would be difficult, perhaps even painful. But here's the vital truth: the resolution you've sought from the beginning, the pain of becoming authentic, is infinitely less than the crushing regret of never daring to know yourself at all. Authenticity is not found. It is chosen, again and again, each time you decide to speak the truth of who you are, despite the consequences. It's the voice that finally speaks clearly, bravely, and without apology. Yours. The authenticity Nietzsche dreamed of isn't an impossible ideal. It's a constant, courageous act, one you are fully capable of right now. You are now standing firmly at the crossroads, not afraid of the abyss, but empowered by the freedom you've discovered in confronting it. Nietzsche's greatest insight is yours to carry forward. The truest, most powerful freedom is not freedom from pain. It's freedom to live meaningfully despite it. If you've truly embraced the transformative power of authenticity, comment below with, "I choose authenticity over comfort." Let this phrase affirm your courage, your understanding, and your unbreakable commitment to becoming who you truly are. This is just the beginning of your journey toward profound self-discovery. If today's exploration resonated deeply, then you've experienced firsthand that true authenticity is life-changing, but also challenging. You don't have to walk this path alone. Subscribe right now, because the insights ahead will take you deeper, empower you further, and continually guide you toward becoming the person you've always known you could be. Your authentic self awaits. I'll see you in the next step of this transformative journey.